Hi guys, this is jason.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the iPhone 15 Pro. Yes, it's here and it has less innovation than expected. It doesn't have the periscope camera we're hoping for. That one was left for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So here we go. This is the device we have here, and we have it in a, I would say, blue hue. The unboxing is not going to take very long because the focus is on the phone itself. I already set it up and synced it with my old iPhone, which I actually have here. I'm the owner of an iPhone 13 Pro, and you can actually tell that some changes have happened between the two of them. Well, one of the most basic of them is the fact that we do have the dynamic island at the top side, but that also happened on the predecessor. Another thing to notice is that the device is much more compact now. Okay, you can see here the exchange between the two devices, which is a feature that does happen every once in a while. To sum it up, the brand new iPhone 15 Pro is priced at 1,200 euros, brings an action button instead of the mute slide button, brings a lighter body, narrower bezels, 3nm CPU, USB-C port at the bottom, and pretty much the same camera at the back side, plus leaves the innovation for the camera to the 15 Pro Max. Also, titanium frame. Now, in the box, we have the following. First of all, the cable USB-C to USB-C now seems to be braided and thicker than before. Also in the box, this set of key, stickers and manual, very small as usual. And that's about it. No charger and no official charging info unveiled. We were wondering about 30 watts or more. I'm going to have to find that out. Now, it's time to talk about the design. So, as I said before, there have been changes, and I would say rather positive ones. So first of all, the device is much more compact now and also a bit rounded around the edges, making it comfier and less aggressive on your palm. So if I'm gripping my iPhone 13 Pro or the 14 Pro, it's an aggressive grip. It cuts into my palm with the metal frame. Meanwhile, the 15 Pro is more gentle with your palm. It measures 8.3 millimeters in thickness, thicker than the 7.9 millimeters of the 14 Pro, but it's much lighter, 187 grams compared to the 206 of the predecessor. It's got IP68 certification, can be dunked up to 6 meters for 30 minutes. It's got glass at the back, glass at the front, and in between a titanium frame instead of stainless steel, which is the metal used for prosthetics for some people. The screen to body ratio has increased now. It's actually 88.2% compared to the 87% of the predecessor, and we have a ceramic shield protection. Okay, so that's pretty much it, and the color choices include black titanium, white titanium, blue titanium, and natural titanium. Now, the screen you are seeing right here, well, this one is a the screen seen here is a 6.1-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED, a long name for basically an OLED with 120 Hz refresh rate and a 2556 over 1179 pixel resolution. It can drop down to 1 Hz to reduce consumption, has HDR10, Dolby Vision, and up to 2000 nits of brightness. Now, aside from that, I'm going to give you a little spoiler for the review, and this handset includes an Apple A17 Pro 3nm processor inside. It's a hexa-core chip with ray tracing GPU and 19 billion transistors. This time the quantity of RAM has increased. It went from 6 gigs on the 14 Pro to 8 gigs of RAM. And this is the result you achieved in Antutu 10. It's, I would say, something like 10k points shy of the Zenfone 10. With a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. That's where we're at. The storage is 128, 256, 512 gigabytes or 1 terabyte. It's NVMe. The action button on the side can be kept pressed to either trigger the ring or the mute, and it can have associated purposes. So, for example, if you're in the camera and you're going to be pressing it, you should be able to tweak it so you can actually take pictures using it as a shutter button. There's just one example. You can also keep it pressed to trigger the flashlight and several other features. So keeping it pressed only changes the mute for now, but from the settings you can do much more. We have stereo speakers on the device, as previously known, the earpiece at the top and the one at the bottom. And the battery here, we're dealing with a 3274 mAh unit, while the predecessor had a 3200 mAh unit, so slight upgrade. You're supposed to reach 50% battery charge in 30 minutes, and we also have 15 watts wireless charging. On the connectivity front, this device provides you with Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, GPS dual band. There's NFC and USB-C 3.0 port at the bottom, believe it or not. Ultra wideband 2.0 and satellite SOS connectivity in some countries. On the camera front, not much has changed from the predecessor. So in this cutout here, we have a 12 megapixel camera plus the Face ID TrueDepth sensor, while at the back side, there's the main 48 megapixel camera with the second generation sensor shift OIS and dual pixel face detection autofocus plus f1.8 aperture. The same telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom is here, 12 megapixel and optical image stabilization, and finally 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera with autofocus for your close-up needs. Dual LED flash here, LiDAR sensor here, and something called 100% focus pixels. There are also the options to take 24 megapixel shots or 40 megapixel shots. You can take ProRes video in 4K 60 frames per second, and the night mode will be applied for stars. There's a special setting to take photos of stars. Apparently from the official presentation that Apple held, I understood that you will be able to film in 3D in order to view content on your Vision Pro camera in the future. So that's pretty nice. You also have the action mode, which works like a gimbal pretty much. We have the cinematic video, which increased resolution from last year and also includes this option for, you know, a bokeh effect. Slow-mo, time-lapse, and time-lapse now has support for night mode from what I understood. So yeah, that's nice. Now, iOS 17, in a nutshell, what does it include? Okay, so let's see what that's about. Okay, so a quick discussion about iOS 17. It includes, among others, interactive widgets, and I saved one for you here. So for example, if you have the reminder, you can actually press it here, something like this, to check it and check it off your list. That's just one example. Now, aside from that, we also have a standby mode. So when you put the phone horizontally on a charger or your nightstand, it enters a special mode meant for a simple clock and a gallery, a slideshow of your most important videos and photos. That's just one example. There's also name drop. So it's a feature from AirDrop. So basically you put two iPhones together, you should be able to exchange content between them just by bringing them together. There's also, you can see them here being connected. There's also SharePlay, so you can do that with content. FaceTime now has audio and video messages, and the messaging app has a cleaner design now. There's an interesting feature called check-in. You can check in on your friends or family, and if they stay too long in a certain place and then don't move, you're going to receive a message with their battery level, cellular status, if there's no progress. Now, aside from that, the health app comes now with a special mode for your mental health. It actually has a lot of sub areas, so yeah. And there should also be a journaling app later in the year, so you can keep track of your mental health with stories, photos, and videos, and even music, and places on the map. It's not available yet. Now, the photo app is interesting now. It can recognize pets, and it can also recognize food. So there's this pizza here. I press this button, and you should be able to actually look up food and see relevant results thanks to the visual lookup. Okay, let's see what else. You can trigger Siri just by saying Siri, no longer Hey Siri. So yeah, that's another change. And you can create something like a contact card from here. Share your name and photo with friends, enter your name, choose an emoji here for yourself, change the font, select a photo from the photos, a relevant one, which will be shown large on the screen while you're calling that person. And there's also something called live voicemail, so you can have a transcription of the voicemail you're leaving, so the person can decide to pick up or not. Okay, Apple Maps now has a download for the maps offline, and I think that's about it as far as iOS 17 is concerned. I'm going to have to discover it as we progress. Of course, there's still the dynamic island here, which can be filled up as you do various activities and use various applications. Like, for example, I remember that the timer can be shown here, even if you exit the app or something like it. So you can set a timer and see it here, just like I'm doing right now, and press it and kill it. Okay, that's it in a nutshell. The iPhone 15 Pro has become more comfortable, has less innovation than expected in the camera department. If you want innovation for the camera, pick up the 14 Pro Max. However, it seems to be more potent with a 3nm chip and more ready for nowadays requirements compared to the Android rivals. That's it from us. Goodbye for now.